Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing, testing.
Stretch panic.
Miku and Tony. Testing, testing. Sleeves of War. And Andy Author.
Stretch panic.
And Anthony Johnson.
Stretch panic. Stretch panic.
Alright guys, welcome to another stream. It is that time of the week for some games. Yeah, we're going to be playing some Stretch Panic tonight. This is a 2001 release by Treasure. And it's not a very long game. I think it should take us probably less than 2 hours to beat this thing. It is a really fun game though. Quirky. Some of you guys that haven't seen it before might be like, what the hell is this? What is going on here?
Stretch panic.
But I think it's a really fun game, despite some of its quirks. And you'll see what I mean by quirks basically right when we get into it. But we're just gonna actually chill out here for a few minutes. I'm gonna wait for people to tune in. I am brain dead today. What's new? Drilly Press. Well, welcome to the live stream. Glad you're able to catch it. And Iguana, what's going on? First time you've heard or seen this game. Wow, dude, is really that many people not like know of Stretch Panic? I'm really surprised. Actually, I'm really not surprised, honestly. I don't think the game sold very well. I bought it right when it came out back in the day. But I remember when I was working in game stores between, 2002 and 2006, 2007, that it was a really cheap game. It never really sold, even on the used market. People just passed it up. And so yeah, it doesn't actually surprise me that a lot of people haven't seen this game. But it is a game by Treasure. It is a really cool game. And after you've watched a little bit of this stream, if you think it looks cool, you should probably pick up a copy. Because it's cool. And Sleeve says, but I swear to God, if something interrupts my getting to watch Austin snap boobies until they explode, there will be hell to pay. Yeah, so there's a lot of snapping boobies in this, and you guys will see what I mean in a few minutes. As usual, let me switch over to the old Patreon thanks slide. We actually got a new backer this past week, Clifton Knight. Clifton, if you're out there watching, thank you for your pledge. Your pledge isn't going to be displayed on my Let's Plays for the next 3 weeks or so, because I've actually pre-recorded my future Let's Plays for the next 3 weeks or so. I'm ahead of schedule for once, so but your name will be on my Let's Play slides eventually, so watch out for that. Victor Escamilla, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, thanks all for the Patreon support. I really appreciate it. And even if you're not supporting on Patreon, thank you for watching anyway. I hope you guys enjoy the content on my channel. So, oh man. Andy Author says, this game's about snapping boobs? What? Sort of. Mario Mania, hey man, welcome. All right. So I guess I can go ahead and jump into things. Let's see what the options are. I don't think there's much for options. Yeah, it's just controller controls. And that's pretty much it. So, Stretch Panic is a third-person game. You can use your left analog stick to move your character around. Oh wait, there's a story first. Let's watch the story before I do anything. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit on the game, just for the story. All right. So first off, big shout out to Anthony Johnson, who just pledged $5 via a super chat. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I really appreciate it. Whew. Man. So yeah, Stretch Panic, like I was saying before that, is a third-person game. You control the character of Linda, and you can use your left analog stick. You'll notice that she's very slippery when she moves around. This has sort of an old-school kind of lock-on system. You just press one button, which is L1, and then you sort of lock into place. And then at this point, you can strafe left and right, and just move in all directions. Also, what's kind of interesting, and this isn't going to come into play until a little bit later, but you can't fall off platforms either when you're in strafe mode, which is pretty cool. So if you ever decide to try this game and you find yourself just falling off things, like right here for instance. Oh, see, I just fell off the stairs, but when I was strafing I wasn't able to. See, I can't fall off now since I'm holding the L1 button. Hey, awesome, Anthony. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying this stuff. So yeah, this is basically your hub area. So Stretch Panic, it's basically a boss game. That's basically what it is. There's something like, I don't remember the exact count. It might be 10, it might be 12 bosses, something like that. Basically what happened is your sisters all got possessed, and you need to exorcise them. So basically what happens is it's a series of boss fights, and you need to release the demons possessing your sisters. It's kind of crazy. Now, your main form of attack is this scarf thing. You move that around with the right analog stick. What I'm going to do is get to a regular level, or an EX stage. So what happens here is, holding the L2 trigger, you can just look around like so. All these portraits up top are the bosses you have to fight. The doors have numbers on them. The numbers are the amount of points required to get in to fight said boss. So these require 1 point, not 11. And these are EX stages. These are where you get points. So let's not do that one. Let's go to this one. This is a little bit easier to start off. So if you ever decide to play this game, probably want to come to the green area first. And so you've got this scarf. You can use R1 to throw it out and grab onto things. Kind of like that. And you just let it go to attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the door and then just let go. It snaps it open. It's not even close to Shadow of the Colossus, Andy. So yeah, you basically move the scarf around. This is your form of attack. It's also a form of movement, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And so you basically just press R1, use the right analog stick to move it around, and then you just press R1 to reach it out. And you can, as long as you're holding R1 out, you can just keep moving it around. And if something is in its way, it'll automatically grab onto it, like that tree. And then you can let go to snap at things. That'll attack enemies. And as far as movement is concerned, you can grab it onto something and then wiggle the analog stick, and you'll propel yourself. So that's kind of how you jump in this game. It's not really... There's not a whole lot of actual platforming in this game, but on these EX stages, it is something you need to know about if you want to, you know, not fall down, you know, endless pits. So these are the boobies that they were talking about. You want to actually hit these characters from behind. When those stars appear, that means you got a critical hit. I'm going to jump down here. And getting critical hits on these enemies gives you points, and the points are how you get into the boss rooms. So that's what these EX stages are for. They're actually a relatively small portion of the game. So you basically just spend a little bit of time snapping these odd characters to get points, which will take you to your boss fights. Hey Jeff, what's going on? Alright. Alright, that's that. We kind of want to try to get up here. If we can. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to have to propel ourselves up this way. There we go. Oh, I fell down. Alright, let's just go back up. There we go. So this is really a dual analog stick kind of game. You use the left one to move, you use the right one to move your scarf, and the more you play the game, the better you get at controlling both at the same time. So every time you see the scarf moving, that's me. The scarf it doesn't have a mind of its own. You control it at all times. So a lot of people find this game quite disorienting, but I find that once you get the hang of it, it really plays quite nice, actually. It's very smooth, it's very accurate. The scarf is very accurate. You just need to have decent depth perception. Alright, so what we're going to do is try to come down here. We're going to propel ourselves this way. Probably grab onto this tree here. Here we go. Alright, so 21 points. Now, what's actually interesting about that, I'm going to show you something here, is when you grab onto something, you can use 5 points to use what's called the exorcism move. Or, it's actually, it's like the bomb attack or something like that. But, by pressing both analog sticks in, I don't think it's going to do it, since we're not attached to an enemy, actually. Yeah, it's not going to do it. I can't show it to you. But 2 more scarf arms will come out, and on the boss fights, you have to use that in order to exercise the boss. Now, you can actually beat the bosses without exercising them, but you have to exercise all the bosses in the game, otherwise you won't finish the game. You'll have to go do all the bosses again, or whatever bosses that you haven't exercised yet. Reality Studios says, well, this definitely isn't Mega Man, Doom, or Castlevania, that's for sure. Hey, Catherine Smith, no problem, no worries. Hope your Wi-Fi is working well now. Shining Dahlia, what's going on? Alright, so what I'm going to do here is come over here and save my progress. This thing right here, you snap that, and that's how you save your game. Alright, we've saved our game. And we can smash into this bell if we want. And then this will take us to sort of like a bestiary, if you will. Once you defeat bosses and you exercise them, they appear here. But right now, it's just those big boobs, chick things, whatever you want to call them. And you can actually practice your, not really practice, but you can just snap them for fun. And then what's actually also kind of interesting, if you press various buttons on the face of the controller, you'll change the textures on them. This is just sort of like tech demo stuff here, but it is pretty neat. Remember that this was 2001. The PlayStation 2 had only been out for about a year at that point in North America. So when Stretch Panic came out, it was actually kind of impressive. It was, you know, 60 FPS. There's a lot of cool visual effects and things like that. So this just kind of shows you... Oh, look at that. It's like a reflection. That's neat. So it's just textures. Alright, so let's get out of there. Hey, Calamity, how you doing? Alright, so now we're gonna go to our first boss fight. And so for the rest of the game, it's just gonna be boss fights. And then more EX stages. Now, every boss in the game actually has a weakness, and I haven't discovered the weaknesses for every boss. But this boss requires you to... Well, I'll talk about it once it gets going. So every boss fight has an introduction like this. And you can skip through it if you want. You just hit the start button. But I'll let them play out just because they look cool. Again, you know, nice use of visual effects. I'm good, Calamity. Alright, so this is Siren. And basically what happens is she tries to call in these little chicks. And what you have to do is take the chicks off. You don't have to, but it's ideal. Because she closes up, and then all the little chicks turn into little demon Grim Reapers, if you will. There we go. And this is her weakness. But I need to exercise the boss first. So now that she's going to be stunned, what I'm going to do is grab onto her, press both analog sticks in, continue to hold R1, and just keep snapping. Just keep moving the analog sticks around. It does lots of damage. Okay, so we exercise the boss. You'll notice that there's this little guy flying around. That means that you've exercised the boss. I'll actually let all these guys come after me. I'll show you what that does. Your life bar is that bottom left star, and the boss's life bar is the top right star. And that exorcism move actually did a lot of damage to the boss. So this is where the game actually can get kind of creepy sometimes. There's some kind of, well, no pun intended, demonic things in this game. And if you're the kind of person that likes creepy-esque things, well, there you go. So we need to snap all these guys. This is what happens if you let them feed. And I think that's probably the only one. So you can just snap the boss, or you can wiggle the stick around and smash into the boss like that. There we go, that's gonna be a critical hit, and that'll probably kill the boss. Bam. Yep, boss is dead. A dead boss is a good boss. Yeah, so blue damage is just really like weak attacks. Yellow is a little bit stronger, and then red is... It is red, right? Red is just like you've done a ton of damage. Green is the exorcism damage. Yeah, that sounds about right, Sleeves. Alright. And so what we're just gonna be doing this for the rest of the stream. We're gonna be doing boss fights, and then saving, and then boss fights, and then when I need extra points, EX stages. You can also gain points in boss fights if you do critical hits. Basically, if you hit the boss If you take advantage of their weakness and get a good hit, you'll get a point. But you can't really rely on that, from what I can tell. You really want to go to the EX stages to build up your points. So some of these bosses, you can just exercise them right away. There we go. Ooh. That probably did a lot of damage to me. Oh yeah. Alright, so we exercise boss. Now this boss's weak point is when she opens up her mouth, you can grab her tongue and snap that. You can also pick up these projectiles and then throw them back at her, just like that. Bam, just got a critical hit, you got a free point. Oops, that was bad. So I did my smash attack, but her mouth was open. I went right into the mouth. So that's where you get where like some attacks aren't really good on certain bosses, or they're risky, I should say. But she's almost dead. Miku's gonna have nightmares. So that's 2 bosses down. We shouldn't have too much trouble. I might die at a couple of bosses. We might have to just, you know, exit out and reload our game. But, you know, like the final boss, for instance, could be tricky. But for the most part, I think this is going to be fairly smooth sailing. I actually finished this on Twitch last night. I started it on Tuesday, and then I went back and I finished it on Wednesday. So, it's pretty fresh in my mind. Alright, so like I said, if you come here after you defeated some bosses, you can actually look at the bosses. So, there we go, that's the boss we just fought. And there's the other one. Yeah, I agree, Sleeves. A lot of people, like, back when this came out, they just didn't get it. And I've watched a lot of reviews, and a lot of people have problems with the controls, and I feel like a lot of the issues people have with the game is just, like, not spending enough time with it. Like, hold down L1, move the scarf around, and you attack. That's basically the game in a nutshell. You know, it is what it is. You know, I'm glad I've played it. You know, I bought it right when it came out. I was a big fan of Treasure back then, so I followed their stuff more often. And so, you know, I was like first in line for this game, and I finished it. I beat it, and I thought it was awesome. No, it's just one of those overlooked gems. This game looks like what happens when hell possesses Candyland. Does this game have a lore or something? Yes, it does. Okay, we exercised the boss at least. I was worried about that. Yeah, so if you get the game, and it's got a lot of story in the instruction manual. And there's a lot of good information in there as well, like telling you how to do the exorcism attack. So when you've got, you know, objects like this in your hand, you can grab them and then rotate the analog stick around to fling them around. Almost like a ball and chain. Ow, that did a lot of damage to me. There we go, and that's probably going to do it, yep. Yeah, so the story basically goes how Sleeves mentioned it. This little girl is with her 12 vain sisters, and one day they receive a mysterious package. All the sisters open the package and release a bunch of vanity demons, which possess them all. But the last demon gets stuck in Linda's scarf, and Linda's our main character here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to save it. I'm gonna wait until I get some points from the EX stages. So we're gonna do a different EX stage. We'll do this one, which is sort of at nighttime. Would I do a Bomberman game? Miko, I would if I was any good at them. I mean, I've played a lot of Bomberman over the years, but I haven't finished a single-player Bomberman game probably since the early 90s, so... Alright, so we're gonna grab up here and project ourselves up. So again, these EX stages are just for building points. So you hit these odd characters from behind. You get the critical hits, you get points, and the points are how you get to the bosses, and it's also how you use your exorcism attack. Every exorcism requires 5 points. And you use the 5 points regardless whether you succeed or not. Let's see if we can propel over here. Nice. So, here's how this works. I'll explain it once I come down here. Alright, so the farther you're stretched, the farther you'll propel yourself when you do your jump. The closer or the shorter the distance is from you to your scarf, the less distance you go, basically. Actually, let's demonstrate it again. So that was like a tiny jump. And this is going to be a long jump, just like that. Yeah, there is a name for these characters. I really don't know. I don't remember what the name is. So we've got 12 points, which is fine. I'd like a little bit more though. Yeah, like 15. 15 would be good. 20. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there are any other enemies here. Do I know who voiced Linda? I do not. No. Yes, Lise. I'm trying to... I don't know. Yeah. Andy still hasn't played Ikaruga. Alright, so this should be good enough for now. We'll go ahead and do the next boss fight. We're gonna have to do another EX stage afterwards, though. Let's go ahead and save it. So I like saving it after an EX stage, because basically what you can do is if you, like, fail a boss fight or you fail to exercise the boss, you can just quit like this. It takes you right back to the title screen.
Stretch panic.
And then you just continue your game. You're just right back to where you were. So if I fail to do an exorcism and I run out of points at a boss fight, I don't even bother with the boss fight. I just reload my game. Because if you don't exercise the bosses, then you have to refight them anyway. So there's no point in completely killing the boss without exercising them. Alright, so we'll come to this guy here. Encrypted printer? No, we probably won't play Gradius 5 someday. Not on YouTube. The game is ridiculously hard, man. I've actually been playing it the last 2 nights, though, on Twitch, and I've gotten close to the end of the game. I think I'm on what is the final stage. I think it's the final... I hope it's the final stage. But no, that game is seriously difficult, and I can't imagine myself getting through it without using like 10 credits for like a let's play or something. Hey, Brandon, what's going on? Alright, so we exercised this boss, which is good. He's gonna throw out rockets, and you can snap the rockets. There's a rocket. So you snap the rocket up, and then it hits the boss. Does some decent little damage. Alright, dead boss. Brandon, it is pretty creative. Alright, so I'm going to save it again. I think we might actually be able to get away with doing this next boss with the amount of points we have. And if we can't, we'll just, you know, we'll just reload the game. So this portrait here is actually for the final boss. So that's going to unlock once we've defeated all the other bosses in the game. So we did those. Okay, so we actually just did the first set of bosses. And these require 3 points. I want to say this guy, I should be able to exercise him right away. As long as I can exercise the boss immediately, then we're good. I predict no, Shining Dahlia. There we go, we got it. So on this boss, the weakness is actually throwing rocks inside of it. When it absorbs a bunch of rocks, it, especially these big ones. Let's see if we can do it. There we go. Oh, it sucked me up. Can I get out? I've never seen this before. Okay. I wonder if it has to happen when the eyeballs are out. I don't know. Where is he? Okay, there he is. Oh, it did it again! So I'm not quite sure how the critical works on here, because last time I did it, last time I played this, you just tossed a huge rock inside of it, and it just did a ton of damage, but it doesn't look like it's doing that. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. gonna keep doing tons of tiny damage. It adds up. You know, you can do it relatively rapidly. You'll notice, like, his health bar is getting filled pretty quickly with blue. So just snapping him isn't bad. As long as you're quick with it. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure, Sleeves.
Yes, funky.
The percentage, I think, is just the criticality of the attack that you're doing. I think that's basically it. Alright, so let's go ahead and just go to another EX stage. Let's go ahead and do this one. I actually skipped this one when I played this on Twitch. I want to show you all the EX stages. Hey, Larry G. There we go. Alright, so in this part, you have to propel yourself. This is going to be tricky, actually. Just like that. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Wow, we got it. Awesome. So you basically have to wait until the character is done blinking red. What is Madoka? Shining? Oh. Oh, it's an anime. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we got that one. Oh, very nice. Yeah, so if you attack these characters properly, it looks like you can get four points from them each. Remember, 5 points is your exorcism, And then the doors for the bosses from here on out start requiring 3 points, 4 points. I think some require 5 points even. Alright, so if I wanted to, I could just fall down, just like we did before, and then it takes you right to the exit. Yeah, you might be right, Sleeves. I thought about it, and I think they were implemented to give players a chance to wrap their head around the control system. And it also allowed them to demonstrate other things you can do with the scarf. Like, you don't jump in boss fights like this. You don't propel yourself like that intentionally in boss fights. So having the EX stages allows them to implement that into gameplay. I think that's probably what it was. And then the fact that, you know, it's only 12 bosses. They're not that difficult. You know, you'd have this game being in an hour and a half in your first playthrough. Also, the exorcism move. I guess they wanted to, you know, have it require ammunition, basically, in order to use. And when you run out of that ammo, you need to replenish it. And how do you replenish it? Well, that's the EX stages. So they kind of make sense, but, like, I wonder if they could have implemented some of these mechanics without the EX stages at all. I honestly think it could have been more interesting if, instead of having the bosses, like, being required to be exercised or something like that, just have actual stages for each boss. So have 12 stages, and kind of like the EX levels, you're going through, you're attacking enemies, but instead of like the big boots chicks or whatever, just have regular enemies. Because there's a lot of like normal types of you know, enemies or obstacles during these boss fights. Like you've got to grab missiles that are coming at you, or, you know, there's bouncing objects you can grab and throw back at the bosses, things like that. They could have probably implemented some kind of like actual direct linear stage design leading up to each boss. Maybe that would have been better, and just ditch the whole exorcism mechanic completely. I don't know. Just food for thought. Hey, Cabal. Zaccos, that's right, that is what they're called. Yeah, I think that's what the manual says. Alright. Let's go ahead and do this boss. Yeah, it's possible, Sleeves. I mean, I'm definitely happy with the game as is. I like short games, and it's very creative as is, but it does kind of make you wonder what it could have been like if more time was put into it and it was fleshed out even more. Alright, so basically in this boss, I'm gonna have to get her to... I'm gonna have to do a critical attack on her, and it basically makes her puke. It's kind of hilarious, actually. And at that time, that's when I'm going to use my exorcism. Okay, so we're gonna snap this. No, snap this. Oh, too late. Sorry, that just... oh, that just gets me every time. It's just vomiting up a storm. This game just... it's got very few restraints. I mean, it's cutesy, though. It's not like... you know, it's not like it's a real horror game or something like that, but it is just kind of... it's kind of over the top. And it's kind of great in that regard. There she goes again. I don't even think I can... yeah, I can't do anything with those. That's it. Honestly, at this rate, the stream won't even last another hour. I'm dumb. Alright. We'll go ahead and do this one. I think this might be like the Mr. Potato Head boss fight. This is kind of a clever boss fight. Hey, Mark! MT Shark! How are you doing tonight, man? Oh, what just happened there? Okay, at least we got the exorcism. Yeah, so you smash into this boss, and it loses all its face pieces. I will say the camera's a little wonky in this one, though. You could definitely use a larger arena. And that does it. It probably does, Sleeves. I'm not exactly sure what the critical is on this boss, but I know that when you knock the face parts off, they start to chase you, and that's how they attack, or that's how the boss attacks. Yeah, Mark, it is an interesting game. To say the least. It is an interesting game. Hey, Deadly Gaming! Welcome, welcome. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and save it. We're gonna go ahead and try to do the next boss. Actually, we might not be able to. It depends on if the door only requires 2 points. It might require 3. We might have to do another EX stage. Oh no, this one requires 2. Okay, cool. Alright, we can do this. We will attempt it anyway. This one is a little weird. Basically, the boss is just like this spaceship that's just constantly rotating around. Oh, by the way, Mario Galaxy, before Mario Galaxy was ever a thing. We did not exercise the boss. That was weird. We have to exit because I don't have any points. No points. We'll try it once more without grinding out on extra points. Really? Okay, that's really cool, Sleeve. So you have to knock the pieces off and then reattach them. That's clever, and that does the critical. Cabal, I will be. Yes, I will be streaming on Twitch after this. Probably be doing some more PS2 games. Oh, that's really interesting. I never noticed that before. So, when you use your exorcism attack, you fly up in the air with the boss. That's really cool. Okay, there she is. Get over here. Alright, where's the boss? There it is. And that's it. So you actually do a lot of damage to that boss, even with just your regular snap attack. Alright, so we're gonna save it, and then we're gonna go grind out on some more enemies. So we can get our points back up. Yep, the other tier, the next tier of bosses is opened up. Yeah, it is, Gary. Alright, so we did that EX stage. I'll show you this other one. Not that one. Hold on a second. I feel like we're missing one. We already did that one. Here it is, the ice one. Yeah, that was the exorcism. Yeah, the exorcism does a ton of damage, but it uses up 5 points. See, like, these enemies can push you off, but if you're using your strafe function, they can't. So I feel like that's, you know, sort of another reason why these enemies act the way they do. Grab them from the top. This basically just, like, teaches you how to use the scarf effectively. It's like, you don't have to be directly behind them. You can be on top of them. And if you use the scarf right, you can still hit them. You still get that critical. Hey, Stealthborn, how are you doing? Yeah, it is pretty overlooked. Absolutely. Oops. Sleeves, probably not, man, because when you do a critical on a boss, you only get 1 point. And remember, your exorcism requires 5 points. You're gonna get those points much faster by going to the EX stage than you will worrying about criticals on boss fights. I think the criticals are there just for you to take the bosses out faster, or in more interesting ways. But you're still going to need the ammo for your exorcism, because that's mandatory to actually beat the game. So every boss requires you to use 5 points, not counting the points just to get into the boss fight itself. Yeah, so every boss requires at least 5 points in order to exercise them. And you've got to successfully do the move too. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt to get some, you know, get criticals in a boss fight, so you get some extra points, but it's only 1 point for every critical you do, so it's more about just dishing out more damage. That's really what the criticals are there for. Now, it would be really cool if there was, like, a way to just rack up the points during a boss fight. That way you didn't have to come to the EX stages. But I don't mind the EX stages. I mean, like I said, we're probably going to be done, like, in the next 45 minutes. You know, so it's the kind of game, even with the EX stages, you can still play and just get through in one sitting. Yeah, no, the music is pretty good in this game. I like the soundtrack a lot. I like the sound effects, I like the soundtrack. It's good stuff. You know, Treasure always excelled at that stuff. Alright. Alright, so this boss is really tricky. This is one of the few bosses in the game that actually is kind of creepy. Alright, and so to exercise this guy, what I think he has to do is appear in the metal doors. I think that's how I did it. Now, unfortunately, I've got this sound running through mono, and this is one of those fights where it's good to use, like, the stereo audio in your headphones to figure out where the boss is. He never actually shows his face. Hey, Zerto. Okay. Now you have to hit him when he's in that window. If he's in that window for too long, he pretty much busts through. And it's guaranteed death. Like instant death. There he is again. I need him to go through one of these doors though. Let's try the exorcism here. Okay, we got it. That's all I care about. Wow, we killed him too at the same time. Win-win. She just falls flat on her face. It's a little details like that are fun. Oops. Let's try that again. Let's look up here. Is there anything else up there? No, it's just that guy. Alright. Looking for bosses we haven't killed yet. Okay. We got a couple. Let's see. Which one do I want to do first? We'll do this one first. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Sleeves. I noticed that at the end of my run last night on Twitch. I had to defeat the final boss multiple times. Not the final boss. One of the bosses right before the final bosses, and I noticed that the chick changed. I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if that affects anything else, though.
Invade. My invasion begins.
Awesome. It's been exercised. So what you want to do is grab these guys off the, you know, the walls and ground. And they basically zap the boss. And then when they're zapping the boss, at the right point, when you attack it, you'll do a critical. Alright, where'd he go? The boss is supposed to turn white. That was weird. I wonder if it didn't turn white because I was already touching it. We'll have to see what happens this time. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, Alan, this is Stretch Panic for the PS2.
Get out of my sight.
There we go. There's the critical. Yeah, I guess you have to just wait until it turns white, and that's it. But I wonder if it depends on how many of those guys are attacking it. Which is why it's important to keep these guys off the walls. You are not the first person to say that tonight. There it is again. Boy, that did a lot of damage to me. Whatever it was. Come on. Crap. Get up. Thank you. That should do it. That did it. Yeah. Yeah, when you get the critical hit, it makes that cash register sound, which is awesome. Great, yeah, the game's got great sound design, for sure. Alright, this is the last one, I think, and then we go to the final boss. Yeah, I don't think I have any other boss fights left over. Alan, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. What other game can you play as a girl with a possessed magic scarf? I can't think of any off the top of my head. Not to say they don't exist, but yeah. Cool. We got it. Alright, let's run away. When you see these flames come out, that's basically the wall, like the invisible wall. You can't go outside that area. Alright, where's the boss? There it is. I think it's gonna fly down into the sand. Yep. Now it's gonna... yeah. He's gonna try to pop up. I went ahead and just did that. We're just gonna grind out on the next EX stage to get our points back up for the final boss. But it was like, you know, there's no point in just spending, you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes on that boss or whatever. It probably wouldn't have taken that long. This boss actually takes a little bit longer than others because it's always up in the air and it's hard to reach. Yeah. It's funny, it does sound like the bosses are saying, like, damn it, in some distorted voice. Christopher Margot, how are you doing? Alright, so let's go ahead and save it. Yeah, see, this pretty much opens up the final boss for us. But, again, we need to exercise the final boss as well. So, we're gonna go back to the EX stages. And we're going to... see, yeah, you can see how the final boss is open now. We're gonna go back to the ice level. I'm good, thanks for asking. You'll notice how, like, Linda, when she's not in strafe mode, she slides all over the place. And you can kind of like power slide your way around the enemies and then lock onto them to get more control. It's kind of interesting. I think it would have been really interesting to, you know, see how this game would have played with, you know, a more traditional platformer type of focus. Hey, Pin Mike, how are you doing? Hey, Georgia, what's going on? How are you doing tonight? Unfortunately, guys, this stream isn't going to be going on for much longer because we're already basically at the final boss. We're just prepping for the final boss. We're getting some extra points, which is needed for one of our special attacks. And points are also needed to actually access the bosses in this game. Give this man a radio show. Well, thank you, sir. I'm okay, Georgia. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Hey, Girl Geek. Freak Out is the name of this in Europe. I mean, it might be the name of the Japanese one, too. I'm not entirely sure. But when I was looking for box art for this game, pretty sure that's the European name. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for all the enemies. Nope, there's a couple more. Oops. Alright, I think that's gonna do it. Alright, so basically that's gonna give us 20 points to use on the boss. So if we don't get the exorcism right away, we've got a few chances, which is good. That's right. Hippolinda sounds about right. Honestly, I think Freakout would have been a cooler name for North America. Everything is kind of freaky in this game. All right. So there's a very specific part where the boss sort of gets stunned, and that's when I want to use my exorcism, I think. This might take us a few tries. We'll see what happens. I have actually died at this boss. And this is where accuracy with your scarf really comes into play. The boss makes these pillars appear, or these objects, they shoot at you. You want to focus on taking them out. I think the hands can also grab you. Ow, you gotta watch out for those spike things too. There we go. I think we failed the exorcism. Oh, we did it. Yeah, we did it. Wow. The last moment. All right. So if we go here, all of the characters should be filled in now, and it actually tells you, you know, what sister was rescued. So it's interesting that it actually tracks which sister model was possessed. But we determined that the model is pretty much random. So we got a lot of fat chicks on this one. And a couple tiny ones. Yeah, some of these names are pretty funny too. Face Off. Face Off? Haha. Do-do. Android. Miss Mecha. Spinner. Cinder. Spirit. Mirage, Cyan, Demonica, Jelly Chan, Samantha. That's it. Now this will take us to the ending. And I was wondering about this, but I think that the sisters that run across the screen or walk across the screen on the ending are the they're the actual ones that you rescued in the game. So like this will be different, you know, on every playthrough. I wonder if there's any rhythm or rhyme to the you know, what sisters appear. Hey, Major Havoc. It is, Mark. It's not a really long game. I mean, granted, I know what I'm doing, so I was able to just sort of blitz through it. On a first playthrough, it's probably going to take you 3 hours, 4 hours, I would say. Because you've got to figure out when... First, here's what happened when I first played the game. And this has happened multiple times over the years, because it's not a game I play every day. So when I go back and I play the game, it's like I have to relearn it. I went through the entire game the first time I played it, beat every boss, didn't know I had to exercise the bosses. Looked in the manual and they told me about the bomb attack, which is the exorcism attack. And then I had to go through the game again, and then I had to figure out the best times to use the exorcism attack. And so basically it took me several hours to beat the game the first time I played the game. So it's not the kind of game you're going to pick up and just finish right away in your first playthrough. But once you know what to do, you can run through it in an hour and a half, basically like we just did on stream. So... But it's a really fun game. I like short and sweet games. It's one of those games. It's actually one of those few games from the PS2 era where you don't have to dedicate a lot of time to it. I mean, during that era, that's where games started to become much larger in scope on a more frequent basis, and games that you could just, you know, finish in an hour or two started to become not all that common. So this game's kind of refreshing for me, and I think it holds up pretty well too. You know, it's got a sharp visual style, it's fun, it's straight and to the point. Yeah, it's short and sweet. That's probably the best way to put it, and I like short and sweet. As long as it's good, and Stretch Panic to me is good. Not everyone's going to enjoy it, but for my tastes in gaming, it just sort of fits perfectly. Yeah, definitely check it out, guys. It's one of those games that's probably going to eventually be not all that common, just because, you know, once people find out about this game and kind of how cool it is, they'll check it out or snap it up for their collections. I I mean, it's a Treasure game. Treasure makes really quirky stuff. It's, you know, even their quirkiest stuff is still generally very high quality and definitely worth checking out. You know, not all their games are going to be for everybody, but I mean, people that figure out some of these games like Stretch Panic, I think they'll enjoy it. You know, once they really put some time into it. But yeah, it's not an expensive game either. I mean, it's gone up in price a little bit. Like back in the day, you can get it for like $5. Now it's probably like, I'm gonna guess it's like 10 or 15 bucks or something like that. Maybe even a little bit more. Which I'm really curious to see what how many copies are on eBay at this given moment in time. Let me see. Yeah, Dynamite Heady is pretty good. I like that. Yeah, they're
Stretch Panic.
Yeah, they're becoming less common. Wow. Oh, geez. I'm glad I picked mine up like a year and a half or 2 years ago when I did. Yeah, the cheapest one's $23 after shipping on eBay. Buy it now. There aren't any auctions or anything. It's just buy it now. That's the cheapest one.
Stretch Panic.
Huh, interesting, Durhol. That's cool. Yeah, unfortunately, Treasure doesn't really do anything anymore. I mean, as far as video games are concerned, they are still around. But as far as I'm aware, they're not making video games right now. Or I'm on their website right now.
Stretch Panic.
Yeah, the thing about Amazon Mario, though, is that you can't really see it. So you have to really trust your instinct on that one. Of course, if you just want to do disc only or something like that, there is that, so...
Stretch Panic.
And Mark just bought a copy of Stretch Panic. That's hilarious.
Stretch Panic.
Well, Treasure has a Twitter, and their website is still up, but it doesn't really appear to be updated. They do still tweet out, though. They tweet and retweet. So it doesn't look like they're really doing anything with video games right now, but, I mean, it appears they are, still around. Still around. What they're doing, I have no idea. I'm trying to figure it out.
Stretch panic.
Yeah, it looks like the last thing they did was probably on the 3DS. Something published by Capcom. I don't know why it's not translating it for me. Hey, I mean, I'm a big fan of Treasure's games. I would pretty much buy anything they ever put out
Stretch panic.
on any system they decided to do a remaster on, you know. I've got Ikaruga on 360 and Steam. I'd love Radiant Silvergun to be on Steam. I have it on 360 and now Xbox One as a result of backwards compatibility, but I would love a Steam release. That would be awesome, Calamity. If they did come out with something new, that would be, you know, I'd be first in line for that. Yeah, I'm trying to get their main website translated, but it's just not happening. Yeah, you're right, Geist Crusher. Japanese 3DS. That didn't come out in North America, did it? Yeah, so it looks like they're still around. They're not like Irem and just completely dead. You know, they are still a company. My guess is that they've just got to be doing other stuff to stay afloat.
Stretch panic.
Yeah, speaking of Ikaruga, guys, I have Ikaruga now on GameCube, so I'm gonna try to practice it, get back to the point where I can get close to 1 credit clearing it. And then maybe we can do either a stream. No, probably not a stream. We'll probably do like a dedicated Let's Play or something. We'll see.
Stretch panic.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably going to do it for the stream.
Stretch panic.
Yeah, Ikaruga, it's a tough game. It's the biggest thing with Ikaruga is getting used to the switch mechanic. It's just very disorienting. Nice, Gary. Deadly.
Stretch panic.
Yeah, Andy was like, you should play Gradius 5, and I was kind of tempted, but I was like, yeah, no, I don't, no. If you guys want to see Gradius 5, if you go to my Twitch accounts, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch pretty much right after this. If any of you guys follow me over there, I could do Gradius 5. But the plan was to do stuff like Devil May Cry and Maximo, and maybe even try out Heavenly Guardian, which I picked up today.
Stretch panic.
But yeah, I will be doing I will be streaming on Twitch right after this once I hit the stop button here. So if you want to hang out over there, feel free to check it out.
Stretch panic.
Yeah, so if, you know, if any of you guys want to keep hanging out, I'm gonna go ahead and start streaming on Twitch in a little bit. If I do Gradius 5, you're staying up late to watch it. Right on. Well, I will start off with Gradius 5 then on Twitch, since some of you guys want to watch it. So, if you guys have any last-minute questions or comments, go ahead and fire them off. And I'll wait a couple minutes and try to answer whatever you guys throw my way. Just remember that I did post a Disney's Aladdin Let's Play for the Super Nintendo last Sunday. R-Type 3 for the Super Nintendo will be this Sunday, for those of you guys that aren't backing on Patreon. So you guys can look forward to that, in case you were unaware it was going to happen. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the stream next week. This week's stream was kind of impromptu. Like, I played Stretch Panic on Tuesday and then finished it on Wednesday. And it was like, well, might as well stream it on Thursday for YouTube. So... encrypted printer, I've been pushing the game audio a little bit more. That's really all I've done differently. So I've just been pushing the game audio up higher. I just hope it's not nerfed for other people. It might be great for you now, but I worry that it might be a little too much for other people. But I haven't had any complaints, so I think we're good. Yeah, no, I figured you were busy, Gary, Deadly Gaming, because I haven't seen you on my Twitch stream much over the last couple of weeks. I was worried about you there for a minute, man. I was like, man, I hope he didn't have a heart attack or have, like, go into, like, a diabetic coma from eating all the ice cream he does. It's like you've been gone for a couple of weeks. But I'm glad to see you're doing well, man. You were just busy. That's the good kind of disappearing, the busy kind, where you don't show up to streams just because you're actually doing real things with your life. So I'm glad to see you're doing well, Deadly Gaming. Well, Darren, the archive will be up in probably an hour or two, so check back in an hour or two if you want to check out the archive. Hey, see ya, Drilly Press. Thanks for checking out the game and the stream. No, probably not happening, Major Havoc. I'd love to, but it's too far for me. And then I gotta take off time from work and stuff like that. And it's money that I don't have. That's good, Deadly. That's good, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up then. Let's go ahead and flash the Patreon folks by once more. Thanks again to a Clifton Knight who pledged this past week, and thanks to everyone else that's continuing to support my little shindig here on YouTube. And even if you don't support through Patreon, I really appreciate you guys just enjoying the videos, watching them and enjoying them. And, you know, if you guys enjoy them, I will keep doing them. So, alrighty guys, well, go follow me over on Twitch, or go over to Twitch, and I'll continue the stream there. I'm going to take probably a 5-minute break just to get some more food in my stomach and things like that. But yeah, you guys take it easy, and if you're watching the archive, feel free to drop a comment below, and let me know your thoughts on this game. But, alright guys, take care.